Here we go. So I'm going to kind of explore a little bit more of what I talked about in yesterday's video, even though yesterday it didn't upload because thanks YouTube. Anyway, yeah, I recorded it yesterday. I tried to upload it. I tried to upload it again while I was just hanging out with my sweetheart on the couch in the afternoon. And I don't know why it didn't want to upload, but it did not want to upload. It just it went like over it anyway. I had to upload it today, and yeah. So yesterday's video is out today, and anyway. I want to talk a lot about. I feel like talking about belief systems again, and kind of like diving into like I would argue. Well, I mean, this is an element. This is a theme of autopilot, because until we're aware of what's going on in our inner universe, we're kind of just being pulled in every which direction by things that we're used to. Because again, like I was saying the other day, what we're used to, or I should say, what you're used to, will use you. That's just the way that it works. But here's a very interesting thing, because I've been exploring the meditations of Dr. Joe Dispenza over the past few days, specifically the one regarding, creating a new potential for yourself. And this is actually interesting because this goes as far back as high school for me. I remember when I would look at people that were like exceptionally happy, and I would just be like, oh, God. And that's because I was generating so much low energy emotions back then. So it's interesting because if what your dominant vibration is, I guess you could call it, because everything in this universe is energy vibrating at a certain frequency, right? So if what your dominant vibration is just low energy, right? Because you've got low energy thoughts and low energy feelings, so your dominant vibration is going to be that of low energy, whether it's anger, consistently, by the way, anger, sadness, frustration, depression, resentment, all these low energy vibes that keep you down. You're just like attracts like. You're just going to attract based on that. And so, kind of like working with that idea, the interesting thing about this is that what I noticed for me is my kind of like my transition from being somebody who was just like consistently happy, consistently unhappy, because of all of the low energy thoughts and feelings, to being somebody who was generally happy, which, by the way, I feel like it was much more. I don't know. I was genuinely tired of being unhappy, but I don't think that the pursuit of what it was in regards. I was definitely looking for a better life. Actually, no, it was real. It was real. Yeah, no, it was real. But I definitely wasn't exposed to what was necessary to heal within me. So that was a whole different dynamic. Um, but what I want to get at here, because there's a very interesting contrast between how things were for me back in high school, how I was as a person, my energy and everything, and how I see things now. Um, and I know that I've had several talks with my sweetheart on behalf of this. We have really great kind of like in-depth conversations in regards to how all this stuff works in our lives, how things were years ago, like a decade ago, how they are now. It's definitely different. It's changed a lot. Um, but what I want to dive into specifically here is, so like this meditation that Dr. Joe Dispenza presents is this idea. All right, so most people out there, the general population, the way that they go about acquiring or achieving is, it's over there, and I'm going to work my ass off for decades to get it, right? And then, by the way, once I finally get there, I'll feel the feeling of that which I'm looking for. And the feeling is, I don't know, Woo! Great things, right? And so, um, what's important here that Joe Dispenza explores is manifesting from the quantum field. Because it's kind of like, all right, imagine there's a piece of paper, right? There's a piece of paper, and from here to here, it requires this distance, right? This distance to, you have to go this distance in order to achieve, and then you will feel the feeling based on that achievement. So, Joe Dispenza, what he talks about is this idea of taking that piece of paper and folding it in half, and then sticking something straight through it. Like, it's already there. It's already there. All you have to do is feel. That's all. And why I think that this is so interesting is because I'm noticing how conditioned. I've been throughout my life to be kind of like stagnated. I don't even know if that's a word, but like kind of like consumed or stuck inside of low energy thoughts and feelings, and how like kind of like approaching these meditations where like these meditations require you to feel these elevated emotions of like gratitude, right? Gratitude because you've acquired something, you've achieved something, you have something, right? Or peace, or stillness, or joy, or ecstasy, or euphoria. My being, it's as if my being is so used to being caught up inside of those low energy thoughts and feelings that this elevated stuff is like my body's like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here, right? It's like no, your normal is this low energy shit. Your normal is this low energy shit. That's all. Don't even try to be anything else. Your normal is this low energy shit. And what's interesting about that is that like you've got to fucking push past that. This is, by the way, that in and of itself is a belief system. So actually, I think that this is going back to the video that I put out today that I meant to put out yesterday, or the video that I put out 2 days ago. Belief systems. They're very interesting because the way that you work with them is you fucking punch them in the face and break through them like you would when you're angry at someone, but instead you go and punch the wall. You have to overcome your limiting belief systems because they're just belief systems. That's all they are. That's all they are. And once you realize that, it changes the dynamics of everything. So just because you believe yourself to be someone who is generally someone who's generally unhappy doesn't mean that you don't have the capacity to be generally happy. It's that simple. So, once you kind of like, the reason why this is so interesting to me is because I'm realizing now how much I've just been consumed by low energy matter, thoughts, feelings, all that stuff. And of course I've attracted based on that. So, yeah, and by the way, my sweetheart and she and I have had several conversations about Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's just he's a fascinating dude. He's just the way that he talks about manifesting. So instead of causing an effect, right, Newtonian, you're going to feel, because Newtonian is all about, all right, what I want is over there, like I was saying before, what I want is over there, and I have to go get it. Quantum is just be it. Just be the feeling of that which you wish to experience within the experience of that which you wish to acquire. That was crazy. It was almost like a tongue twister. And you bring it to you. So Newtonian is I'm going to go out there and get it. Quantum is you bring it to you. You bring it to you based on the feeling, right? So, and I believe that there's a book that I purchased earlier this year by Neville Goddard called Feeling is the Secret. Everything is about feeling. So consider it this way. we have an antenna based on our thoughts and feelings, and that antenna is going out and it is attracting like energy. Um, and the reason why this is so interesting is because, and it also goes back to the idea of what you're used to will use you, right? So what it is that you wake up every day, your mind, your emotions, they're a program, and they're consistently running. They're constantly running. If you just let them be as they are every single day, and not check up on that program and not run the necessary updates and this, that, and the other. If you're someone who's consistently waking up in sadness, depression, anger, frustration, resentment, all these different things, I mean, you're just gonna, your life's gonna look the same. That's all that it is. And what's interesting about this too is that, like, if you were born into the conditioning of all these low energy, negative, thoughts and feelings and everything, it's actually going to be challenging to get away from that, because, like, you're going, like, when you vibe at low energy shit, like, you look at positive shit, you look at people that are happy and you're like, ugh, God, no. But then once you finally get there, you're like, you look back at the negative low energy stuff and you're like, oh God. So it's just what the main thing that I'm trying to focus on in this video is being used by your thoughts and feelings, because you will be. Because if you don't change them, they're just gonna stay the same. That's all that it is. And it's very important to, like, check in and be like, oh, wait a second, that's out of my life. Go, get out, take that. Nope, don't need it anymore. Because, and there's that idea of what you're not changing, you're choosing. So if you're just waking up every day and it's autopilot of fucking sadness, depression, resentment, low energy bullshit, if you're not changing it, you're choosing it. That's just the way that it is. So it's very interesting to look at this stuff and kind of recognize it as you're being used by your shit. That's all that there is to this. You're being used by your shit. Your life's not going to change by something out there. It's going to change by something in here. So do this work and all that stuff changes.